Hi, I'm Molly with Robert and Molly Bees. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am going to show you how I redid this side table. It was kind of a crappy piece. I believe it was pine. It was really soft. But I used a heat gun to get rid of some of the paint, and then afterwards I did use a sander to sand it all off. And that worked really well for this. There was only one layer of paint. I expected there to be a lot more. And I didn't have any chemical stripper, or I would have done that. I always strip the paint off of any piece I'm going to paint if I don't know what kind of paint was on it before. So I went ahead and sanded it and primed it. I used Zinsser 123 primer. And then the next thing I did was added some raised stenciling. I knew I was going to put a Buddah on the front of this, so I took a lotus flower stencil and used Dixie mud, and added some raised stenciling. I wasn't symmetrical about it. I knew I wanted one on each side and one on the front. So I added that. I went ahead and added the poster before I added the raised stenciling on the front because I wanted the lotus flower to be on the front of the Buddah. Here you can see me scoring the poster. This is kind of a thick poster. I might have done this differently next time, and I'm looking into different ways to transfer images onto wood. Here I am just putting down a coat of black. I used black Waverly paint ink from Walmart. It worked really great. I did have caviar, Dixie Belle's caviar, but I ran out. So here I am adding the raised stenciling to the front, and you can see what I mean. I wanted some of it on the poster and some of it on the shelving. The poster ended up being really thick, so I ended up painting. Oh yeah, this is me using my arm as a palette. So I ended up repainting the image over top of the poster. I had added some texture with Durham's water putty, and I used some Dixie mud. I would not recommend using Dixie mud for texture. It falls off after you paint it. It's not particularly, like if you knock it. If you're going for some real spiky texture, it's not good. I would use Bondo. I used Bondo on another piece, and I really liked that more than the Durham's water putty or the Dixie mud. So here I had originally planned on using some red around the lotus flowers. I really didn't like how it was looking. Wasn't feeling it. So I ended up covering that back up and blending it out. This is a really good example of why lighting is so important in your videos, because you can hardly see what I'm doing. But I had covered up the red with black and was blending in the whole piece together. So you can kind of see that here, but it's not really good lighting. I should have had my ring light on, but I didn't because I was working. So back to the texturing. I had added some texturing to the edges of the poster to kind of blend it in, and then I had to paint over the poster image again to get it to all kind of make sense because the poster was shiny. So all of this painting did take a little bit of time. There was a lot of blending, a lot of stippling, a lot of different colors. I used a lot of different paints. I used Bunker Hill Blue by Dixie Belle, Blue Iris by DIY. I used some Waverly paints. I used Annie Sloan paint. I think I used Amsterdam by Annie Sloan, Peacock, Tree Frog by Dixie Belle. I used a bunch of different stuff. But this is how it ended up coming out in the end. I was really happy with it. I was kind of surprised that I was able to do as good a job as I did. So then here I decided to do some gold leaf stenciling on top of the raised stenciling. So you can see I put up the stencil and then just used a little bit of 3M 77 spray adhesive and then did some gold leaf and brushed it off. And I did that to all three of the lotus flowers. Then I ended up using some adhesive just to add a little bit of extra gold leaf on the edges where the raised parts were from the texture, and brushed that off. And then I did stain and used polyurethane on the top, but I didn't film that because that's boring and nobody usually wants to see that. But if you do want to see it, let me know in the comments below and I'll be sure to film it next time. But and I also did some stenciling on the sides because I always have to stencil the sides of my drawers. I had some lotus flower stencils, and I did this, and then I did a little bit of gold offset from the first blue. So this is how it turned out. I think it turned out really pretty. I was super jazzed about it. I don't know what caused me to want to even do this particular piece, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Bye!